Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Video Gamers Podcast. Tonight, we take a walk down the trail of the Midnight Walk, and I am your host, Ace. And of course, joining me are my two lovely and wonderful co-hosts. Maybe not one today, though, as he likes to walk in the path of darkness and betray the light. It's John.
Hey, I resent that, man.
Hey, you know what you've done.
I know what is happening, but I don't know, man. We'll see how this episode unveils. I am going to try and convince you to be on my side.
Oh, that's so. And I can only hope that he walks the path of light and justice with me in this beautiful work of art. It's Ryan.
Give me all the matches, baby. Let's light them up. Let's light them up.
Oh, clearly today we have mixed opinions on what's going to be coming forward. But we've talked about the Midnight Walk before. We were all relatively excited for it, I want to say. John, were you excited?
Oh, I was super stoked. This genre of game is usually like a can't miss for me. Indie charming horror is like, if you had to distill my preferred genre down into 3 words, indie charming horror would be like it.
I mean, it's a cozy, narrative, charming horror game with a claycraft aesthetic. Like, come on.
That's what sucked me in for sure. Like, I am not one to like, oh, a horror game, let me go check it out, but the claymation look to it, I'm just, Nightmare Before Christmas is instant Halloween and instant Christmas movie every year for my family. And I was like, oh, I can play a game like that? Count me in.
I can experience that? What do you mean?
Yes, say less, homie. I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. For those who are unaware, I'll go ahead and give the lowdown right here. The Midnight Walk released May 8th, 2025, and I was very excited for it. It is an indie dark fantasy adventure built using real clay assets scanned into the game and animated in a stop-motion style. And that's just super freaking cool to me. I don't know about you guys.
It sounds cool. Look, I need to preface this episode, okay? So I am a huge fan of this genre, and I am a huge fan of indie producers in general. And I feel so terrible that I'm about to poop all over this game for the next 40 minutes or however long. I feel terrible about it, man, but,
Oh. Yeah, I couldn't win you over with this, John. I couldn't win you over in the first impressions, and somehow I got you to finish the game for this deep dive. But
he's a professional, man.
I think it just hurts you more. I'll be honest. But the story of the Midnight Walk is that you are the burnt one, and you're going to take your potboy companion, who is like the last light in the end of the world, up to the mountain and, hopefully reignite the sun and bring light back to the world. It's a very simple narrative-driven game, but the style is what's going to carry it forward for a lot of people. I'd say, what really, did anything hook you at all, Ryan, when you started playing the game? Or was it?
Other than just like the kind of the scenery and the atmosphere, I love the look of this right away off the bat, and I knew I would. I mean, knowing what I know about the other kind of this style, I knew I was going to like it right away. But I did not expect to like Potboy as much as I did. Like
He's a great little guy,
the most amazing, cutest, coolest little dude ever, and I immediately fell in love. And I am not kidding. I looked to try to find like figurines. I'm like, Potboy, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I got some questionable search results immediately, so I'm like, I need to refine my search a little bit. So, but yeah, that was right away. I thought it looked beautiful. The world was cool, and I loved little Potboy.
I thought as soon as I loaded up the game, I thought it nailed the atmosphere. Because I don't know if you guys remember the opening, but the opening is you rise from the dead and your vision's blurry and your hearing's all screwed up, and you just start walking forward down this corridor until a statue with 2 eyes pops up, and it's just like, take your eyes.
Yeah. You're like,
and you
what?
put one eye in, it's a little clearer. You put the other eye in, now you can see, but your ears are still all screwy. So you keep walking and you find 2 more statues like, take your ears. And then from there you put your ears on, and then that becomes part of the entire game's thing with the like the binaural hearing where the I guess that's binaural audio where it passes from one headphone to the other, and you can kind of use that to find things. Did anything hook you at all, John, with this one? Like,
well, okay.
Was it impossible to set the hook for a game you just didn't like?
No, yeah, I mean, clearly the art is, I was a goth kid growing up, man. I grew up on Nightmare Before Christmas and Tim Burton movies. Coraline, in my opinion, is the most superior claymation movie. I love that movie.
I'm just thinking of John with eyeliner and
yeah, you and I've got the same vision.
Yeah, I was
pale makeup and black hair and eyeliner.
313 pounds with pale makeup and eyeliner and black lipstick.
Nobody understands me.
Yeah, exactly. The whole bit. I'm embarrassed for my 15, 16-year-old
for you.
But if you were to like take most of the concept art and just put it on, matte paintings or something like that, I would be like, oh, I'm drawn to this art. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. In the game, the way that it was put together, man, it just didn't resonate with me, dude. Like I wanted... it would have been so easy for me to like this game too. It just right out of the gate never felt to me like it had a heart. It looked like somebody was painting by numbers and was like, how do we make a creepy game? Like when Tim Burton, for instance, makes a movie or any property, I think that those things end up coming out the way they do because Tim Burton's just kind of like a weird guy and he sees things through a certain lens. Mm-hmm. This movie felt to me like it was created by somebody who like listens to a lot of Creed and Nickelback and like, let's make a dark game, guys. Like, how do we make a dark game? Okay, well, what kinds of things are in dark games? Oh, well, we gotta have an edgy name. Like, let's call him the Burnt One. Yeah, that sounds cool. Okay, like, so what's gonna be our hook? Well, he doesn't have any eyes or ears, and we'll have to like build that into the game, and like I don't know, man. It just felt like so formulaic. It never felt like it had a heart. Even Pot Boy, dude. Like,
hold on, you better watch yourself real quick.
John.
I'm sorry. Like again, if you were to just like put him on a painting without any of the context, I'd be like, oh, that's cool art, right? But as he fits into the game, it felt to me like, oh, well, we're going to need like a cute character that's also kind of creepy to fall around. Like, okay, well, let's kind of make him like a little burnt up, but like with a big jack-o'-lantern smile. Oh, that's kind of cool, right, guys? Right? Like it just doesn't ring true to me, man. Like even some of the most clear examples of that in media, Grogu, terrible name still. Baby Yoda, better name. Yep. Clearly was designed to sell merchandise. But even that, like when he's in there, I'm like, that's adorable. Like that, there's something, it feels genuine. Nothing about this game felt genuine to me, man. Even the fact that it was claymation.
It's stop motion claymation.
Yeah, even the fact that they made this with claymation techniques and then scanned it in felt totally unnecessary. Like I've played plenty of games where they have had a similar aesthetic where that's just how they program it. It felt like, well, how do we get the Tim Burton Oh, I get it. Let's make this out of claymation and then we'll scan it. Oh yeah, and then we'll be able to sell that, guys. Like just
did you know, speaking of Tim Burton though, we almost got a Superman Tim Burton film with Nick Cage as Superman?
Yeah.
Do you guys know that?
You don't have to tell me any weird goth thing.
I'm just telling you, man.
We know all about Nick Cage Superman.
What could have been?
Yeah.
I'm just so surprised. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. It definitely felt like it was very lost from the get-go. And it didn't really have that heart. I don't know if you felt that, Ryan, if you felt like there wasn't much to go with.
I felt, I guess the long and the short is for me, with the design is I loved the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I did not really care about the world. Like, I thought it was
Okay.
cool and it kind of
Yeah.
looked good, but I wasn't drawn into the world as a whole. I did not like the fuzzy effect they tried to give. Like, yeah, it's foggy, whatever, but like you can still see stuff. I think that was kind of maybe just so that they didn't have to develop as much of the game. So there wasn't. I agree with John that there wasn't really a heart in the world. I didn't feel like I was where I was. Like I had no notion. I'm just like, okay, I'm cruising through this area. But I did have a connection to the characters and the character design. I did love Pop Boy, and I loved the other characters throughout the game. But just the world itself was just kind of lacking for me.
For me, that's exactly for me. Until I met Pop Boy, I didn't have a connection to this world. This world was very empty and barren, which it's supposed to be. It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
This takes place at the end of this claymation world, and you're basically surviving in the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it makes sense why it's so empty and sad and terrible. The music was good though. The music got me. That was really good music.
Music was pretty solid. Yeah.
I gotta give the music. I did grow to like the music quite a bit.
I mean, that one, what do they call that? They don't call it a sting. I can't think of the word. The one cue that plays whenever Pop Boy is setting a fire for the end of a chapter.
Oh,
like the
yeah, where it pulses up 3 times and you're activating.
Yeah, that one got me. I love that one.
It was
good.
good.
So good.
Yeah, it's a good
Such
swell.
a good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna remember the name of what that's called one day, but not
At some
while I'm
point,
on a podcast, apparently. But the game is split into 5 unique tales that each tell a story of fire or darkness, or how they would, combine within this world. Because as we mentioned, Pot Boy is our companion, but he is also the last light at the end of the world. There's no fire in this world anymore. It's all been taken over by shadow. The sun is gone. The moon is gone. Everything is just dark.
Yep.
Which is why you need to take Pot Boy to the mountain and reignite the sun and bring light back to the world. Which, you're told that pretty straight up by this creepiest NPC I think I've ever met in my life. He's got like 2 heads and he's like almost snake sounding when he talks.
Yeah. It's a weird setting when you jump into off the bat, but I mean that's kind of what they're trying to set up. I think they want you to be a little off put and trying to figure out some things and figure out where you are and what you are. And I do think they did a good job on that, is unsettling you before you kind of dive into this world.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they do a very good job of letting you know that this is a bad world.
Yeah.
It's something like we talked about with the first impressions, John, was like, at least what I had experienced by then, because I hadn't met anyone yet, it was like I felt very alone in this world, and Pot Boy was the only companion I had. And that kind of stays true through the whole thing. Even if you do make friends, they don't really stay around.
Yeah.
And I think that really does actually add to the world building, even if the world isn't that great. Sorry, the Midnight Walk.
Yeah, I was, again, I feel like on paper I could find so many fault. Dude, I'll be honest, I don't even know what the story was, man. I felt like I was just
You didn't follow the story?
I couldn't get interested in it. I could not. It just felt like this paint by numbers sort of thing. When you and I did our initial impressions, I stopped playing it because I got stuck in a part, and honestly, it ended up being operator error. Totally my fault. Do you know those big gas valve things? Like this is a little bit of a spoiler, but there's a certain way that you're supposed to activate them, and I was doing it the wrong way. I was trying to.
Oh, that's where you were stuck. I was curious.
I was trying to throw a.
So,
instead of the way you're supposed to.
No.
But the same way, like you find these little like cue card or clue cards, and it showed that being thrown, and I was like, why can't I get the? And I just totally forgot that I had the right way to do it. Anyway, I got past that part. But I could just never find. I could never find like love for this game. When I stopped playing it, when we did our initial impressions, I hadn't looked up any reviews for this because I was like, I like to go into games that I'm really excited about, like with no preparation. But I was confident that I was going to be seeing like 6 out of 7s, 3 out of 5s, you know. But I'm shocked at what is it at? It's like 90.
Oh, it's at a 92% on Steam.
Yeah,
currently.
Really?
92.
Overwhelmingly positive. So,
yeah,
you know, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
How many reviews is that?
That is 378, I believe.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, no, it's still kind of early, but
it's still in its infancy, but it's still incredible that it's only been out for that long and it's already gotten this positive a reception.
I was looking up some stuff before we recorded on, and on Reddit, and there are just nothing but glowing reviews, people that are going for
I
it.
think every goth person who has a Jack Skellington tattoo somewhere on their body, who is 20 years old, that is wearing a Cure t-shirt, is totally going to buy this.
You don't understand, man. You don't understand this world.
Yeah.
Well,
which
John, that
was me.
Yeah, clearly you thought it was going to be for you. But since you're very familiar with this genre and what it does and what it doesn't do, what makes the Midnight Walk stand out gameplay wise? Is there any mechanics or anything that stood out?
Yeah,
to you?
what made it stand out for me gameplay wise was that it was the most boring gameplay I've probably ever played. Oh,
come on, John.
I gotta tell you. So here's the thing, though. I was expecting it, though. I was expecting it to not be reliant heavily on the gameplay, because it is along the lines of like What Remains of Edith Finch or a Firewatch or something like that.
It's a walking simulator.
It's a walking simulator, which is fine. I love, frankly, I love easy narrative-driven games. Like, I don't want to die a bazillion times. When I play a difficult game and I'm dying over and over again, it makes me hate the game. I don't want to like breeze through a game, but like Ghost of Tsushima was like an appropriate level of difficulty for me. Expedition 33, unless you ended up in someplace where you're under leveled, I should say, that was a good level of game for me. Souls, like, man, can't do them. Even the innocent ones, like Another Crab's Treasure. This game was startlingly simple and easy, which would be fine if for not the fact that I didn't find any story there to be attached to. I will say, though, that I didn't do this in VR. As I was playing it, I was recognizing, like, if this was VR and I actually had that element of feeling like I was in this world, I think that might probably change my opinion on this.
I felt that way as well. That if I'd been like in the hot seat, as the burnt one doing all this stuff, you could see your hands move when you move them and things like that. Maybe I would have felt more immersed and scared. But I do have to agree, it's a very simple game.
I was honestly on the same vein as you guys. Like I thought, like, man, I wonder if this is, and it's regrettably, I can't do VR with motion. But I wondered if this would hit so much harder in VR, like that just diving into this world to where you're, lighting the matches and you're doing all the stuff and looking around and then getting attacked and whatever happens within the game, like the ability to see it in a virtual world might be that extra jump to take it over from a meh game to like something that is standalone, something that really kind of is warranting those reviews, a 90 whatever %.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I have to, like, there's lots of other games. Like, if you're to play Vader Immortal, for instance, the Star Wars VR game, if you were to play that on just like a regular console or a regular PC or whatever with a flat screen, it just takes something away. There's an element of that game where, like, you are confronted by Vader, no matter how tall you are in real life, you're like shocked by the scale of Vader. Like, you just don't get that with, when you're playing on a TV or something. I definitely think that if I was playing in VR, there would be that level of immersion. Because, dude, if I'm being honest, man, like the little goth kid in me, like that style of world is like the world I want to live in. I like the dark, spooky, like haunting lights and kind of charred people and ghosties and stuff. I love all that stuff, but it's just the way I played this game, it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Well, if you didn't see anything in the gameplay, I guess I'll talk about it.
Let's hear it.
It is a walking simulator, but it's also a stealth game. You do need to, creep around and hide from enemies, or, outsmart them by sneaking around them without being seen. But there's also puzzles involved. Very simple puzzles. Oh my gosh. Like the easiest puzzles you can imagine.
How many candles do I have to light? All right, there they are. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where do I take my giant match cannon?
Yeah. Chunk. There it is.
When you are getting snuck up on by something in that game and you hear the "watch out," who is saying that?
Watch out. Oh, it's like the voices of the dead or something, because it's not Potboy. He doesn't speak.
Yeah, I never got that.
You don't speak either. The burnt one doesn't get a mouth.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about? Like there were scenes where there were a couple. I want to give the game credit. There were a couple of creature designs that I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like the grinners, I think they're
grinners.
That I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But they're when you're like sneaking around from doing the stealth element to this game, you would once in a while hear this. Watch out! And I'm like, who the heck is saying that?
Who's telling me? Thank you, but who is that?
Exactly.
Potboy, you could speak?
Yeah.
I didn't think you were intelligent enough to breathe on your own.
And it's the only time in the game that happened. Like, if it is in fact the voices of the dead or what, I think that's the only time in the game you hear that. And again, that just to me feels like bad. It feels like play by numbers design. I think somebody, when they were creating this game, they go, well, this is a VR game and things are going to sneak up on you and that's going to frustrate people. How do we warn people? Oh, just have a voice say, look out.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we explain that? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine. They'll figure it out.
I prefer the big stomps,
Oh,
yeah, right.
Like,
oh my gosh, something's coming.
Then you're like, and you look back and you're like, you gotta run.
Yeah, you see, Ryan, that would have been far more effective for me, man.
Dude, sign me up. Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
I'll design it.
Which again is like the audio design, I think, was the shining thing in this game.
I was say, I think the audio is the best thing I've experienced, is just because it's the binaural audio, which, is, from whatever side you're hearing things is where it's coming from. But also it's part of the mechanic of closing your eyes and listening for invisible objects.
Yes.
Right. But even that, the way that, I thought that was a cool idea, but it
was too easy.
Well,
it's not underutilized.
It's not even that it's too easy. It was irrelevant in the game, guys. There is this scene. I know this is a big spoiler because it's towards the end of the game for anybody listening, or at least that's pretty.
Skip ahead a few, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead and I will say end spoiler at the end of this. There's a scene where you're collecting these bones to put in a grave so that you can advance beyond this level, and you are going. Basically, the gimmick of the game is that you have your characters close its eyes so you can hear things that are invisible, and by doing so, in this one part, you are able to hear the bones rattling in these specific coffins that they're in. But there's not a lot of coffins to begin with. You could just go around and open them and the bones will be there. And it's why do I even need this? It would have taken less effort for me to just go, okay, it's not in that one, not in that. Oh, there it is. Rather than use this gimmick. It's just, man.
I wonder if I will say, I wonder if, and I know none of us played it in VR. I wonder if the VR would have changed that view on those types of sections to where you have a headset on, you're in VR, and you're walking and you hear the rumble of the bones and you're looking around and you're like, what the heck, So I know, because you talked about games made in VR or people playing games like Super Hot.
Yeah.
I've heard people that love Super Hot that didn't play it in VR. I'm like, what? It's one of the best VR games ever. How can you play it in not VR? To me, the ability to dodge and move and move around, all that stuff, that's what makes the game. So I'm wondering if we are missing a little bit of that magic, not playing it in virtual reality as opposed to like just on a screen. You know, we're not getting that extra layer of depth, you know, that we otherwise would have had, you know, if we played it with, you know, a headset on.
Yeah, it could be the difference between watching a recording of a roller coaster and being on a roller coaster.
Maybe so. That's a pretty good analogy.
Listen,
actually.
I'm trying to make a show here, John. What are you doing?
Josh just schooled me in my storytelling in the previous episodes. So pass on. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to know, do you think the VR integration has hurt this game's development, or do you think it has made it better?
Do you know if they had planned to make this a non-VR game from the beginning?
I do not, but it feels like it was meant to be VR
it
across
feels
the board.
Very clear. Yeah. Like, I'm wondering if they started development in this game several years ago, and then at some point they had a member of the dev team go like, hey guys, VR isn't selling at all. If we want to make some of our money back, we're going to have to push this out to consoles. And then they go, okay, well, how do we make that work? You know, it feels very clearly designed for VR. And so, you know, I feel kind of dirty even like passing all this negative judgment on it, not playing it the way it's intended. But at the same time, this is how they released it, guys.
This is how they released it. And you can tell with like the lack of depth in the world, like you can only see so far. It looks all foggy and hazy. Part of it's by design, but also a part of it I think is lack of development. And like I think it was meant to be like, okay, we can't over design this world because virtual reality is going to be what people are using this for. So I mean, maybe that was the case. Like it was meant to be that. They're like, let's try to release it on normal systems.
I mean, the very first time I ever talked about it, I think I just said PSVR because that's all I thought it was for. Because when I saw the trailer, it looked like a VR game. It did not look like a game. And I was very confused when I found out it is not just a VR game.
Your instincts were correct, I think.
My instincts were definitely correct.
Well, but so overall though, Ace, I mean, what was your experience with the game?
My experience with the game was, okay. It was incredibly short for what I paid for it. That is my biggest takeaway from it.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh, we're gonna bring that up for sure.
We'll bring that up. But my personal experience with it is, I really liked it after I sat with it for a little bit and I thought about what the narrative meant and what the endings meant and what it all could mean. But I can't really say I liked it if I don't have any intention to ever play it again.
I gotta say the game has like
there's no replayability.
Yeah,
it is a narrative game that maybe you replay once you've forgotten about it.
Maybe, yeah. And only if you really like the VR component. Yeah, exactly.
I would play nothing else to do.
I would totally give it another shot in VR.
Yes, I would absolutely play it again in VR because that's a whole new experience for me. Versus, you know, sitting here at my desk, you know, using a controller because of course I was, and playing it there where it's just like, oh, I'm just playing a horror game. It's a narrative-driven horror game that.
So hold on. I want to clear something up. Would you classify this as a horror game?
It is definitely a horror game.
To me, it did not feel like a horror game, like at all.
Never.
Like Outlast Trials. You know, a lot of these.
That's like horror.
Well, okay, that's horror. Yeah. It's horror. Rah! You know, that's what horror is. Like, horror is not like, oh, look, you know, this guy's gonna get you. Like, that's what it felt like. Oh, look at this little guy.
Had sewed up eyes and
he's
mouths,
gonna get you. I'm gonna go jump in this cabinet right in front of him, and then he won't know where to go. Like,
okay,
oh yeah,
enough.
okay. Like, how is that a horror game? Like, this is not.
More of a spooky game.
That's fine,
yeah.
And that's
the
fine,
and
that's
you know.
That's why
thriller
I asked.
and horror.
To me, it felt like just like because I mean, it's the same exact aesthetic and look of Nightmare Before Christmas. That's not a horror movie. That's like I'd let my little kids watch that because it's just like it's a good movie with cool look to it, yeah, it's creepy some of the stuff they do, but like this to me did not feel like a horror game. So I personally would not ever classify this under the horror genre of games. It's like, spooky light.
Yeah, it's
Personally.
spooky light. I like that. Spooky
Yeah.
light.
Spooky light.
Well, we'll get into a few more of our other personal opinions just after this little break. All right, we're back. Let's see. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The price. Who else feels slightly ripped off by this game?
Well,
Hold on.
so,
let's all pick a number.
Okay.
And then we'll say the number in turn. Like whatever order is fine, but like let's pick a number.
All right. Everyone remember a number in your head right now.
Okay.
Do it with me, audience. Do it with me.
I'm going to say $19.99.
I was
$20
gonna say 25. 25 would be
I'm
what I
with
would
you,
pay
Ace.
for
I
it.
was thinking $24.99.
Yeah.
$24.99.
Yep.
That was what and that's only because I understand why they are charging $40 for this game. It's $40 for a 5-hour game, by the way. It's kind of crazy. I understand why they think they can charge $40 for it because of how much work they put into it.
How much unnecessary work they went into this. That's the problem. It's bloat. They're like, well, again, it just feels like bloat, man.
They made everything that's in the game, John. Like they
didn't need to. They didn't need to.
It's almost like when you have you have this like I love how it's made. I love to watch large machinery mass produced product. You have this one, where they're just mass producing it, and this other guys are like they're producing it by hand, and they're like, oh well, we need to charge this price. It's like you didn't need to do this. Like you don't have to do that. You can use this device. Like so they're over engineering something that didn't need to be done. They're putting things in that doesn't need to be there, and they're charging a premium price tag. $40 is a lot for a game.
It is a lot. I got it for $35 because it was on sale on Steam. But that's still $10 more than I want to pay for this. Yeah, especially after finding out how long it is.
Yeah, exactly. Again, like I am absolutely dude, I used to run a company that was like definitely the high-end price-wise company, but we provided value that exceeded the price. I will absolutely pay a higher price for an even higher value. And if I was playing this game and really felt like, wow, this all looks like claymation to me, I would have been in for it. But there's something about the translation from whatever they made in reality to scanning it and what was in the game that just felt like Oddworld. Did either of you guys play any of the Oddworld games?
Yeah,
I played a little bit.
Several.
Okay.
Several of them.
Yeah. So like when I was playing those games, like I felt, oh, this is a similar kind of like aesthetic. It's a little chunky, a little blocky. And, like I felt like this game totally could have done that. They could have achieved the same look with probably a fraction of the labor that went into it. And
it's
so
probably labor and budget and
diminishing returns, man.
Dude, filming claymation is unbelievably burdensome.
Stop motion is a dying medium.
Yeah, for a reason.
That's why. It's because it's expensive, but it's also because people are not willing to pay stop motion prices.
I'll pay to see Wallace and Gromit. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, no love for Wallace and Gromit over there, apparently.
I actually just haven't seen them, but I've heard they're really good movies. Yeah.
I understand them, but I don't. And did anyone else? I know you didn't get to the end, Ryan, but did anyone else feel like those last 2 chapters they'd run out of budget or ideas?
Why? Because they went
lengthwise.
Yeah. They went so fast. Honestly,
like this was a 3-chapter game.
Dude, the last chapter when you're going up the mountain was like, I don't know, like it was like a 10-minute chapter or something. So like I got up the mountain. I was like, oh, this is the end of the game right now. Like, okay.
This is Moon Mountain.
Yeah.
I've made it to Moon Mountain.
Yeah,
there's no one to stop me.
Yeah,
I mean, we looked at this. We looked at this game, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'll play with you guys. I'll hop in." And I did. I hopped in yesterday, and then I played it a little bit, and I played today. So I'm like, I guess 10 minutes from the end, then, because like I'm supposed to go up Moon Mountain.
At Moon Mountain,
and that's. I mean, to me, that seems wild because I feel like there's so much more untapped like world, but also there's really not that much world there. So it's a weird feeling. It's
for you to cling to.
Yeah, it's like what are we here for? I get it, but like why? Why am I driven to go up this mountain? Why am I wanting to do all this? So yeah, man, this is an interesting game.
So
Ace, what do you think the community? Why do you think they like it so much?
I think because there's not a lot of games like that. I definitely think it's novel.
Yes.
Like there's not a lot of things like this out there, and so anybody who's like waiting for Reanimal to come out basically is like clinging to anything like that that they can.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ouch.
Rank these games from best to worst.
Okay.
Limbo, Inside, Little Nightmares, and The Midnight Walk.
I hate to say it, but The Midnight Walk is definitely on the bottom.
Right?
It is. Of those games, it's on the bottom. Here's the thing, though. It's not a bad game. Like, if it's not like a noticeably bad game. It is just what we've talked about before, a 7 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. Like, it's just like, I don't want to say it's bad.
I think if this had been it may, the more I think about it, the more it feels like I just didn't play it right. Like if this had been a VR exclusive and you're like actually in there feeling it, seeing it, moving around and appreciating all the work that went into it, it may have been an altogether different experience, but I don't know. People are rejecting VR for a reason. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, that's because it's expensive.
Because they get sick and throw up like me.
Yeah, or they're like Ryan.
Yeah,
they take one step and
I can play super hot, but if you're moving around like anything else, like
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played Limbo or Inside, but I've played Little Nightmares. I need to get to Limbo and Inside.
Oh, they're great.
I've heard,
and they're like a
things.
decade old, man, and they're still so good.
I feel like I watched YouTubers play them ages ago, and then I was like, "Oh, I've experienced this," and then I moved on with my life. But that's not it. That's not how it works in the real world.
Yeah. Each of those have like stories with like plot twists and like narrative and characters you care about.
You better put some respect on Pot Boy's name right now.
Yeah,
Pot Boy. You can't talk bad about the one thing we liked about.
He was the only good thing about this game.
He is Sackboy in Marilyn Manson cosplay.
Okay. 1 second. We're gonna go ahead and talk about spoilers real quick because I want to get a quick spoiler segment out there. Go ahead and skip to whatever Ryan writes down. But he does get his emo haircut at the end there when the shadows give him his head back.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
What ending did you get, John? What did you do?
I chose.
Did you sacrifice him?
I recreated the sun.
You brought the sun back. All right.
What did
He's
you?
He's a happy guy. He wants the world to see. Get their vitamin D.
I did not. I was not going to let my little buddy die. I was not going to let these people tell me what my purpose was. So
what was that? So I was headed up the mountain. What's the difference between the two?
So when you bring the sun back, all three of you die. Halsey dies, you die, and Potboy dies. Potboy becomes
Halsey dies
the sun.
Halsey dies way before that, though.
Halsey comes back though to lift up Potboy so he can reach the sun.
Yeah,
he comes back as a carcass. Yeah, because Potboy accidentally set him on fire and killed him. But he kind of learned why fire is dangerous.
Yeah,
but that happens, and the sun comes back. And it shows you like all the residents looking at the sun, and they're not really moved or changed by any of it. Like you see the craftsman and his daughter walking away, and they keep walking away. You see all these people turn to look at the sun, and then they go back to what they're doing because it does not matter. It's like futile. It's futile to try to help the people of this world, basically. Versus the ending I have, where I told Potboy to stop trying to light the sun, and he tries anyway, and he fails. He fails miserably. And then you and what remains of Halsey and Potboy continue walking down the midnight walk. That you've brought the moon back instead, and it's the same. Nobody cares. Nobody noticed. Your efforts were for nothing, no matter what, to this world. you need people to want to help themselves in order to help them. And
so
that's
at the
kind
end of the day, this game is nothing, and I played it for nothing, and John played it for nothing.
Ryan, in the 40 minutes that we've been talking about it, we have explained every single detail and every single story beat that is in this game. Like if you
haven't talked about the matches, the girl who stole matches and got burned alive.
Now you did. Now
I have.
There you go. It's all done. And you can shoot matches, and then they're like you can light matches, and then that's the extent of the game.
Yeah. If you are somebody who's like itching for a kind of darker, spooky game, please check these off your list first. Inside, Little Nightmares 2 especially, and Limbo. Those are fantastic games.
If you want another first-person one that's actually pretty good, I'd also recommend My Friendly Neighborhood. It's a pretty good. It's Resident Evil, but with Muppets.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's pretty.
That sounds pretty good, Ace.
I do like that one a lot. We're not talking about My Friendly Neighborhood though. We're talking about the Midnight Walk, unfortunately. But yeah, no, that's the only reason I think I really care about the Midnight Walk is because you kind of start to look at the stories and all the things that you've done. And even though they were for nothing for your main quest, you helped those people with their problem. But your main quest just meant nothing to anyone. They didn't care. They weren't there to help you. You were just in the way.
We reconstructed the skeleton. We laid the person to rest. Like, really? None of it mattered?
We brought the cauldron back for whatever that thing was so it could mourn its dead friend.
Well, let's, speaking of put to rest, let's put this game to rest.
Let's put this one to rest. Let's go ahead and end the spoiler segment right here. And let's...
It was half the episode.
It was not half the episode.
I think it was 2 minutes.
Let's go ahead and end our journey on the Midnight Walk. And Ryan, why don't you tell people where they can support the podcast?
Well, if you like what we're doing here and you're not in the virtual world that you have to light matches and run from little scary monsters, you can come over to multiplayersquad.com. Our links in all our bios as well. Podcasting ain't cheap. We love to put on what we can for everyone, and any support that anyone can offer, even a like and a share, all our socials, all that stuff's out there. So please, anything anyone can do, it really genuinely from the bottom of our hearts helps us out, and we appreciate it. So whatever you can do, we love you for it.
And also, absolutely. I gotta hear it. Like, am I just way off base on this? Like, if I miss something, please mention it in the comments. I have to. Like, I want to like this so bad,
dude. I'm with you. I'm with you.
We all are right there where we want to be able to say, "Play the Midnight Walk. It's a great game." But instead, I'm going to say, "Wait for a sale."
Yes.
Save your money, man.
Save your
money.
If the devs are listening, invite us to your studio. No. Invite us to. I want to see the effort that went into this. Make me appreciate it.
Oh, you're gonna get so much hate, John.
We're gonna get shot. It's like in the hood.
You're so mad about you being hating on the puppets.
That's fine.
On all the effort that went into the puppets.
I bet they look awesome in real life.
Well, that's all for this time, everyone. Until then, happy gaming.
See ya.
Toodly doodly.